And there was a phase where I felt music is dying. It was a phase where all songs started sounding the same. The intro sounded the same. The songs, there was no chord changes, no melodic depth. And this is when I started thinking, you know what?
Maybe you need to do a...
There's a fancy word in English, sunk cost fallacy, like kind of kill the dream. It's like, all right, this chapter of my life is over.
Wait, you were thinking about giving up? Okay, guys, so tonight we have a special guest, a good friend of mine, years, we're going back years, Pini.
Yeah, I think you're about
going back 18 years.
18 years,
I was the bucher in yeshiva.
Yeah.
At that point, he was in the Hasidic community, the biggest musician and the strongest one, and I used to go a lot just to see him by weddings because I was very impressed on things he did. So tonight we're gonna have a talk with him and to see how you doing. How's everything, Pini?
Well, things are good. Things are good.
So it's been a while. First of all, there's so much to talk into. You know, I know you moved away. You don't live anymore in New York. Let's start from the beginning. How did everything start? How long your music?
If my memory serves me well, I was singing when I was 2 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how, but my
Right,
sisters remind me that, and my parents tell me that I was singing. Then I saw that keyboard. I got really excited about it. When I was 5, I asked for Afikoiman a keyboard.
Okay.
That's right.
The first time.
Yeah. They bought me a keyboard that they don't make these days anymore. It doesn't have beats. It doesn't have anything. There's a fan. You turn on the keyboard, there's just a fan rolling. And it has one sound. Actually, I have to track back here. They first bought me a melodica. You know what a melodica is? Okay, so it's black and white keys like a keyboard, but you have to blow into it.
It has buttons?
It has buttons the same as a keyboard, just smaller.
Okay, okay.
Like think of an accordion.
I don't know when I saw that ever, but...
right, so it's called a melodica.
Okay.
And you have to blow in air as if you're playing a saxophone, but the keys are the same as a keyboard.
Okay.
So I don't know how to say this, my great uncle, he's not alive anymore. He showed me how to play the first song, and it's so typical, by the way, Kil Hashem. I know you know the song.
Yeah. Okay.
Then I had a brother-in-law who showed me how to play Moshe Emes. These were the first 2 songs. I took that thing, and I knew how to play.
You just had it?
I just had it.
Okay.
I heard the song, and I knew how to play it. That I call a gift. I cannot explain
obviously.
it.
That's a
I
talent.
cannot explain it.
Because I'm also a musician. I'm not doing it anymore, but I also know how to play.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you know, Nachi is a musician. This is crazy.
We're gonna get there.
It's crazy.
Like, I was also involved in this music line.
Yeah.
We had a few years that I used to ask you a lot of questions. I looked at you like this, and I still look at you like that. But so you got your Afikoiman.
Yes.
That's the first time you actually started playing music.
Yep.
Okay. You started playing, you feel it, you like it. Moving on. You're 10 years old. You're doing it already. You know already that you know how to play music.
Yes.
Is it something that you're starting to dream now? Okay, this is probably going to be my life. Like, I'm going to do music for a living. You knew it when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
10 years old?
I had this confusion when I was a teenager.
If it's
really going to be that.
Or
but
not.
I think as a kid, I did know that this is what it's going to be.
Okay, when was the first gig? How did it start?
When I was 11, I played at a Sheva Brachas.
You started like doing it for a job, for money?
No.
Okay,
for a family Sheva Brachas.
Okay.
Yeah, and that made me feel really good.
Obviously.
I felt so like, wow.
People are dancing and
Yeah.
you know, it's something that... When is the first actual... you know what? When is the first job
in camp?
Money-wise?
Oh, money-wise? In Israel, when we lived in Israel.
Okay.
I was about, I believe, 17 or 18.
We forgot about it. At that point,
Yeah.
you live in Israel?
No, so we moved to Israel when I was 16 years old.
You moved to Israel?
Yeah, my parents moved to
Okay,
Israel.
so you lived in America
I lived in America.
until you were 16. 16, you moved to Israel.
Correct.
Good. Now I got
Yeah.
it.
I was in Israel, got to know a lot of people in the music industry.
I guess the religious industry, right?
The religious industry, yeah. So I used to hang out in studios, helping with recordings. I met some wonderful people. Some of the people are here now in America, like Gershon Freistadt. He's gonna remember.
Okay.
If I can I drop some names on
Drop
the?
names,
Yeah,
go ahead.
okay. So Gershon I met then. Eli Laufer is not here, of course. Moshe Roth was at one point he had a monogamous in Israel. He was one point a roommate with me.
Okay.
You know, thankfully a lot of people really recognized my talent. And so this is what happened. Do you remember a name, Menachem Landesman?
Menachem Landesman.
Yeah, he took care of Bukharim in Israel.
I don't remember that. Okay.
So, my God, if I'm dropping names here,
Don't
some
worry,
people are going to kill
buddy,
me.
Listen, nobody's
I
going
know.
to kill you because you're doing just even if you want to battle, you can do whatever you want.
Fine.
This conversation, I don't even want to call it a podcast. This conversation is just a simple conversation.
100%.
We're freshening up memories.
Yes.
We're having a good time. And guess what? I'm already excited. I have so many things that sits over here, but I'm going with the age. So we're going to start up already by 16.
Yeah.
You're starting, you're getting close to musicians and you're getting out there. So what's going on? You're 16 years old. I guess you bought equipment.
I skipped a lot of parts of the story.
Okay.
I didn't get no keyboards from anyone. I had to work really hard for it.
Everything you did from age. Oh, what do you mean? Even the first keyboard you didn't get?
The first keyboard I got for Rafi Koyman. The second one I got for Rafi Koyman.
Okay.
And that was it. Because I grew up in New Square, there was no support system for this thing.
Right.
As you know. And
music, right. Music wasn't the opposite. I remember.
No, not at all.
As you speak, I remember that even in yeshiva it was like something like low. You want to work. I don't know what.
Yes.
In yeshiva was always like a low thing, and it's a
they didn't let me.
Talent, Penny. It's like crazy. Why?
I know.
See, that's one of the things that I don't.
So this is what happened.
It's okay.
My grandmother, Uleyu Ashulam, she's not alive anymore. She had that green wallet. We all knew she has the green wallet, and she gives the money. I'm sure many people who are going to watch a podcast are familiar with Astrakas cookies. Everybody loves the chocolate chip cookies. Okay.
Oh my God, I think it's drugs, but we'll talk about it. I think it's drugs.
So my grandfather, a great man, authentic, real person, but he was super frugal. He watched his money like a hawk.
Like this, okay.
Yes. My grandmother was more the tipper, the generous, so she had that wallet. So we used to joke, she had that green wallet. When we see her coming with that wallet, we know we're getting something.
Time to collect.
Yes. I used to volunteer to come. I was hustling. I'm going to make some money.
Right.
So I came to clean her house for Passover. She asked me to clean Zaidi's car.
Okay.
And, I can keep all the
How
coins.
old were you then?
Probably 7, 8.
Okay.
And then she asked me to repaint the outdoor chairs and whatever. And I made, at the time, you're going back 30 plus years.
Right.
I don't know, she gave me $100. It was a lot at the time.
At that point, yeah.
Yes. And I went and bought my own keyboard.
Wow.
Independence.
Okay.
Bought my own keyboard.
But it wasn't a keyboard that you were able probably to work or stuff.
No, that's a kid.
It's a pleasure, just to learn and
to learn. I have Beats now, and I have this.
A little better than you had.
Yeah, and a little better than I had for sure. And then I started trading with other people in New Square. Somebody had a better keyboard. I was selling. I was making. I was,
trying to get involved.
Yes. When I had a little after my bar mitzvah, I finally saved up. I think it was about $700, $800 going back then. And I ordered a keyboard from, I think, either Eagles or Duddy's Electronics. No,
okay, that was
this
before
is
you
way before that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either Eagles or Duddy's. I don't remember. And we had that shuttle that did deliveries from Borough Park, Muncie, New Square, Monroe, and they used to do the whole thing. And I got my keyboard, and it was like the happiest day of my life at the time.
I know. I remember when we were kids, this music somehow.
Yeah.
We were so connected to it, and
Oh,
we were like, this was our runaway. When we have bad days in school or whatever it is, I used to come home and just sit down and play music for 2 hours, and they used to just get me so much. It used to fill me up.
I'm going to drop something very powerful.
Okay.
And again, this is not to put anyone in a bad light, because I love my parents. They're amazing people. And I'm not saying this to be nice and come across politically correct.
Okay.
They are truly amazing people. That doesn't mean we know. I'm from a family of 14 kids.
14 kids?
Yeah, I'm 14 siblings.
I forgot.
I'm number 10. I'm the black sheep that plays music.
Oh, okay.
I was at least hoping, because every child needs validation and nurture, and I was hoping somebody listens to me.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm playing really well. And we listened, let's say, do you remember the singer Dov Huffman? Shoymai, Shoymai Yisru.
I know the song.
And I love that song. The window is open in my room, and I'm playing the song. And I'm just imagining that my mother is downstairs, and she hears it, and she is proud of me.
That's what you hoped, I guess.
I still hope.
Yeah. Penny,
it's that feeling.
One second.
No, I know, but it is.
Do you still have any doubts that anybody who knows the name Pini Esteracher,
No.
in my opinion, you the most talented guy I know in the music industry. Okay, and today you started singing too, and you're doing a lot of other
I
stuff.
appreciate that.
Which we're gonna get that, but I remember you also going back 18 years, and you were insanely musical, meaning to say you have the biggest music head I ever saw.
I appreciate
So-
that. And eventually, I want to be generous with a few people in the industry. I hope you're going to ask me because I do want to drop some names who are very, very talented, in my opinion. But we're going to get to
No,
them.
I don't mean to put down, God forbid, others.
No.
And I know there's
Yeah.
a lot of talent.
Yeah.
But I mean to say, when it comes to you personally, I know you.
Yeah.
And I think, I think a lot of people who really knows you
Yes.
know that you are one of,
Yeah.
one of a kind. Anyways, go ahead.
Thank you. So
So you started playing, you got this nice keyboard, you were excited, and
I was excited. Where are we holding? We're going back to.
You're practicing. No, we can go up already. We're going up to 16. You're getting older. You want to start.
No,
doing...
so I played in Square Camp
Oh, really?
for the whole yeshiva.
Oh, this is how you became a musician. The first time people
I
see
think
you,
so.
big
Yeah.
crowds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
also
that I was like 14 years old.
right.
Right.
But that's where I guess the beginning of Pini Esteracher's name is coming out. The first time you're sitting with
Yeah.
200 boys or 300
Yeah. No,
kids,
that was my validation in Chayde. Everybody knew.
Pini's a musician.
Penny is the musician. Penny was an artist too.
Okay.
I made all the signs when the Square Rebbe came to Chayde.
Really?
Once a year, he used to come to Chayde.
One second. I think artist with music,
100%.
it is because I have the same thing.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. Nobody knows this.
I do.
Everybody sees Nachi Yavo's swagger, and they don't know that Nachi is an artist. Nachi is a musician. It's crazy.
Musician, nobody knows. Forget
I
about
know.
it. But I think that I was never sure if it is, but it's already a few people that I spoke in the music. They know, like I think it's combined. I guess it's combined.
It is. It's in the same family. So I can, I get creative when I cook. I get creative if I need to be
that's one
creative.
thing I don't do.
That's
I don't
fine because I had to, I cooked a lot of times, so it became part of me, and I can appreciate anything with art and creation.
Right.
Really.
So you played music. You did everything.
I did the signs, yeah, and at one point I was the best. Who remembers Kugelich? I was number one.
I want to play a game right now.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Were you?
I'm
Were
a
you?
star. What are you talking about?
I was the star in Chayde playing Kugelich. I used to finish the
Bro, I used
24
to struggle
Chalukim.
and-
Yeah.
I know. Okay. Go ahead.
Everybody was watching. It was like the game that everybody is
right.
watching. Yeah. The finale.
The casino of the school. That was
Exactly.
the only place that
Yes.
everybody was looking, sitting around.
Yeah.
Okay.
So fast forward. We're skipping parts, fine. I get to Israel. Before my parents moved to Israel, they couldn't really figure out where to put me before they moved to Israel because Square, with all due respect, I love you guys, it didn't work for me. It did not
It's
work
totally
for me.
fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to work.
And they have a very, everybody needs to think the same way and whatever. It didn't work
All
for
that,
me.
right?
So I didn't like it, but I wanted to please my parents. And I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to please and
Want them
try
to be
my
happy.
best. Yes. So they tried this, they tried that. At the end, they decided, all right, they're sending me to Israel. I think for the sake of whatever, we're going to keep it like smooth sailing here. I went to
Whatever you
Israel.
feel, buddy.
I did not like it. At one point, I stayed by a family. They heard me play and they went nuts. And they asked me, I don't understand. You don't have a keyboard? I said, no. They called my parents and they were yelling.
You need to take care of
You
that
need
kid.
to take care of him. And now he could advance, send him to lessons, buy him a keyboard. My parents listened. They bought me a $2,500 keyboard, a nice keyboard.
Right.
Do you remember? Were you ever in
Yes.
Israel? No, Ketron.
Ketron.
Ketron,
That's an
yes.
Israeli Roland.
Exactly.
At that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I ended up, that person that I stayed by, his son learned in a yeshiva in Bnei Brak. I don't remember the name. They ended up hiring me as a 16-year-old to play Purim in yeshiva.
Man, yes. Oh my God. This kind of stuff
It.
is the same. I had.
You went through that
the
phase.
same exact thing. You don't want to
Nachi.
see the forum hired, everything. And literally, I feel that I'm talking, but it's okay. Go ahead.
Listen, guys, don't
Your
be
life.
shocked if I'm going to own a dentistry in Venezuela one day, okay?
That's fine.
Everything is possible.
I'm pro
Okay.
competition. I
Okay.
really believe in it. Okay.
Uman Express, traveling to Europe or Ukraine. We have the best experience and safe drivers. We have the most updated and comfortable vehicles. Feel free to call or WhatsApp 347 612-181.
So you have your catch on keyboard. You're starting to play. You're starting to get familiar. You're getting the beats.
But not only that, they sent me to a teacher in Israel. And I went to that teacher for 6 lessons. And the teacher right away told me, you're going to have a very hard time tracking back to A. Because
you're already in your own thing.
Yeah, because you're already advanced. Like
You're
I'm putting down a book in front of you, and it's like you're playing the song perfectly, and it's like, what's the point of this?
At that point, when you were 16, 17, you knew how to read notes?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Okay.
That came actually later. I was supposed to learn how to read notes with that teacher.
I never learned notes until today.
I had to learn once I advanced into having a band and arrangements and all these stuff, yeah. My teacher was a big piano player for Chazanim.
Okay.
And he ended up hiring me to play at his daughter's engagement when I was, I think, 17. He ended up hiring me to substitute gigs that he couldn't play for other Chazanim.
Right.
So this is how the ball just started rolling.
In Israel.
In Israel.
So we're still not in New York.
We're still not in New York, but I have
a very impressive story because
thank you.
Somehow you got into New York and you became #1. So we want to
But there is a major story, and the man who is really responsible for that, and a shout out to MBD, Mordechai Ben David.
No way.
And it's been my honor to start my career with the Jewish music legend.
Mordechai Ben David here?
No, back in Israel.
Still in Israel, okay.
Still in Israel.
So this is you're staying in Israel and starting. I guess this is how you're starting to do.
I got married my first time in Israel.
Okay.
And I was there. So I'm 17, 18 years old.
In Israel, you started doing jobs. You started working with music.
Yes.
Okay.
Nachman Dreyer, the guitar player, I picked him up.
No way.
You
brought him from Israel?
No, that Freilich did that part.
Okay.
But I picked him up in Zichron Moshe. And we found out at a few friends. Nobody knew about him. Nachman, I love you. The most incredible, talented guy.
Yeah, Nachman is talented.
Somebody told me, you gotta hear him. He's the next Abi Singolda, and it's crazy. And I had this little...
He's very, Nachman doesn't even know that I like him.
Okay.
But he's very tznius. He's very like, I don't know how to say it. How do you say that?
Modest.
Yeah, but very. And then this is his beauty. When I look at him, I feel like he's nice to everybody. He greets everybody. He's smiling to everybody. He's a good person. And I don't know him well.
Not only good, Nachman is a super highly intelligent person. I know him personally.
You know him very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you met Nachman and you started.
So I met Nachman. I introduced him to Moshe Roth at the time, the one who has Amanagnem. Moshe went crazy. We started using him for recordings and, the ball started rolling. But my story with MBD is, I mentioned to you at the beginning, Menachem Landesman.
Okay.
So he had a bunch of Bukhram there. Zalmi Stein was in Israel. Hershey Hish was by Menachem Landesman. Hershey High. They all became fans at the time. They were like, Pini. And I was not I was like...
You were still...
I was shy.
I was shy. You don't start to shine in 15 minutes. It takes you time to accept the love and to understand that you're really talented and you deserve this.
Okay, no, I did believe in my talent. Let's be honest.
It's about accepting that it's a little bit hard. It takes you a little bit to, yes, I have fans. I have people who accept it.
I had a hard time with that. So what happened is they brought MBD to sing for the Bukhram.
Okay.
We need a musician. Pini is going to play.
Oh, it was the first gig with MBD?
Yes.
Get the hell out.
I was petrified.
Of course, MBD, a legend.
I was a kid, and I'm on the way to the gig, and we have Shai Gras. A lot of people know Shai Gras in the music industry. Shai Gras is in the car. I think Hershey Hitch and another person, and I'm petrified. And they're just sitting and basically giving me motivation. Pini, you're the best. You shouldn't be afraid. He should be afraid to work with you.
Wow.
Okay, I shouldn't. No. It's a good way to,
pick you up and to make you confident.
They picked me up. They boosted my confidence, and I nailed it.
Basically, the gig was 100%.
The gig was 100% to the point that MB never forgot about me.
Wow. So that's what. Okay. So the first actual Jewish celebrity.
Yes.
The first gig you had with with one of the biggest legends in our time.
Correct.
Was in Jerusalem when you were how old?
I believe I was 17.
Young.
Maybe 18. 17, 18. Yeah.
Okay, so this is, I guess, where your confidence a little bit start,
My confidence went through the roof in a sense. Right. Not in a real way. Not confident in everything about myself. Not
showing it, but in your inside you felt, okay, I had a gig with MBD. Yes. MBD was happy.
Music-wise, I gained a lot of confidence. Right. Yeah.
Okay, continue with the journey.
So MBD was a chussid, I don't know if he still is, of Harav Morgenstern in Israel. He's a Makibble, a lot of people know about him. They ended up bringing MBD to sing by Harav Morgenstern Pirim, and I think Achnus Sefer Torah. He automatically requested me. So I played again with MBD.
Wow.
And again with MBD. Fast forward, so I got married in Israel, and I'm in the scene. You know, studios, I'm doing weddings, with bands, without bands, mostly woman band, and I also played a lot with like Shuvu Banim, with people like
Oh my God, I know
Yonatan Porat, Nachman Zucker,
my
Nachman
God,
Dreyer.
all these
We
names,
did
I
weddings in
forgot.
different halls in Israel, and I was this young kid. I made $150. Fast forward, before,
Moving.
yes, when we had our first child, Ellie, my oldest, he's 19 now.
Wow, people look so young.
Thank you,
They
thank
look
you.
So young. I can't believe you haven't, like, it's crazy.
Appreciate that.
Okay.
Working hard on it.
Beautiful kids. Baruch
Yes,
Hashem.
yes,
Okay.
Baruch Hashem. I struggled over there. I was like,
Who doesn't? Like, I mean,
Yeah, no.
obviously you have successful people, and I know a lot of successful people in Israel, but it's so hard. Like,
right.
the opportunities that you have.
Today it's a little bit different, but first of all, minimum wage at the time was 20 shekel an hour, 15 or 20 shekel an hour.
About 5,000 shekels a month. which is
Yeah, at the
$1,200.
time, no, but at the time it was like $5 an hour, and I already had the American mentality. At the
You
time,
felt you're making $5.
yeah,
It's crazy.
I was like, I can't do this.
Even 15 years ago, $5.
Right.
You can't do anything.
Right.
Okay.
So Lipa Schmelzer came to Israel. They had a program every year in Yam HaMelech, the big vacation in Yam HaMelech for 2 weeks. All the Americans came, everybody came. Lipa was the entertainer. I went with Moshe Roth and I think Shulam Vakshal. Shulam Vakshal, I don't know if you know him, but people know about him. He's a manager of a lot of big singers today, whatever. So I knew him also then.
Okay.
We went, I met Lipa. We were sitting, and Lipa knows me. We go back to New Square.
Okay. you
Lipa
remember
knew
when you were
about
a
me
kid.
since I'm a kid, yes.
Right. Okay.
And Lipa told me, Penny, listen, come to America. You're going to take over the market by
That's
storm.
Navias, basically.
Yeah. And Dad gave me a big boost, and we decided to make the move.
Lipa was already at his peak at that point?
He
he
was
started?
definitely, no. He
He
already
was already
did
a big star.
yeah, Gamzi Latoiva, Misha Omar. It was high times for Lipa. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
his,
Yes.
okay, his peak.
Yeah.
And if Lipa tells you such a thing, you know that something is needs to happen. So
Correct.
You picked up your ass and you got to New York.
Yes. So I came to New York, and what a struggle at the beginning. I mean,
With what? This is one.
So Lipa tells me come to New York. It's not like he told me.
I'm gonna give you gigs.
I'm going to give you gigs.
People need to get to know you.
I thought
Right.
I'm gonna another name drop, ladies and gentlemen, and we're still in touch and we still work together. Yochi Briskman, I love you.
Okay.
But somebody promised me that I'm gonna get into Nagina
Okay.
because I knew how to play bass and chords as well.
Right,
You know, I had the whole thing at the time. So I went. I got an interview by Yochi Briskman. Yochi tested me. He put down a. Oh man, he's gonna love it because I remember it like today, and I'm sure he remembers it too. He puts down a book of notes in front of me, covers the name of the songs because he wants to see if I could at least read the chord charts and just play.
Okay.
So he covers the name of the song, and he tells me just play, follow the chords. I follow the chords, and I realized I don't remember what song it was, to be honest, but whatever song it was, just by playing the harmonies, I knew what song it was, and I started singing the melody.
Okay.
And he gives me a tap on my back. You're good. So I said, okay, thank you. Then he was very honest with me, which again, Yochi, appreciate your honesty. And he told me, look, we have a lot of people in Nagina. I can't just cut out people because you're good. Like, you're kind of going to have to wait in line. And he told me at the same time, you know, I see how you're playing melody and everything else. Why don't you do one-man band in the meantime?
Right.
For me, walking out of his office, I was kind of heartbroken a little bit. I was disappointed.
Okay.
I was disappointed because
What did you expect?
What
did you want?
At the
Not
time,
expect.
I wanted job security.
Okay.
I'm a
just to get
young
job,
kid,
right?
exactly. So I'm going to be hired by
Nagina.
Nagina.
Right.
Yeah. So I remember then I still used to come to New Square a lot for Shabbos and this and that. And I knew, name drop, Lipa Siegel.
Okay. Dude.
He meets me in Shiel. And I cry my heart out to him. Not really crying, but yeah.
Just sharing with him the story.
Yeah. He told me, Penny, bis Meshiga, you got to start one-man band. You're going to take over the market. Leave it. You're going to make a lot more money. And I hear, you start hearing this. So in the meantime.
It's already the second person that tells you.
Correct.
Start doing your own shit.
Correct.
Like one-man band.
Yes.
Okay.
You can't just get the market in a minute. It's like
You have to start with.
you had Budach Kale, Yossi Rosenfeld is still in,
Moshe Kestenbaum.
Moshe
The
Kestenbaum.
legend. I love
Yes,
Moshe.
I love Moshe. We are good friends, and for many, many years we used to hang a lot. And I was basically complaining to my family, I need help to get started. I need to get started.
Rent, you need to pay food.
No. I need to get started in the music business.
Oh, in the music business,
Yeah.
okay.
One of my sisters, very nice person, she got involved and she spoke to my brother, both of my brothers, they were doing really well financially. And, we got to help Pini. He just came from Israel. We got to help him he has a talent. Like,
Right.
let him start a business. They didn't end up giving me nothing, but they signed Arvis for a loan from the Gemach to buy equipment.
That means speakers, subwoofers, keyboards, whatever you need.
Subwoofers, speakers, the cheapest.
Okay, you didn't start with the best.
No.
That's, by the way,
speakers blew in the middle of the wedding.
Pini, that's very important. You have a lot of young bukhram out there, young people, young musicians that they think that when you start, you need to start with a top model keyboard, the top model speakers, the top subwoofer. And by the way, that's a normal thing to think because I also thought so.
Yes.
But what do you think? It's not, you don't need it, right?
At least from my experience,
you didn't
absolutely
need it.
not.
Okay.
I didn't need it. Fact is, that's my story.
Right.
2025, it's a different industry. I don't want to say for sure that I know the answer.
But okay, so in your story, you didn't need it.
In my
so you bought
story,
the cheapest stuff.
Yeah.
You got
I ended up being embarrassed. I mean, things blew on me in the middle of a wedding. Like, for real.
Ouch.
I went through some heavy embarrassments.
Ouch.
Still gaining a name.
Right.
So, thank God,
Right, so you're buying cheap equipment, you're starting to do weddings, or you started...
No. So, I didn't get a wedding yet. And I started nudging some of my closer friends. Give me a shot, give me a shot, give me a shot, give me a shot. And slowly, somebody gave me a shot. I did it for real cheap. Then somebody heard, then another one. So it was very, very slow.
Slowly building it up.
Slowly building it up. I didn't get a lot of weddings at all.
Okay.
At the beginning, no. What happened was something else. And this ties back to Lipa Schmelzer and MBD. And this is the big story and the lift of my career.
Okay. This is
Within the first year, when I started, at the time, I don't know why, we communicated via email. More than today.
Really?
I still had a @yahoo.com. Lipa sends me an email. He would never send me an email now. He would text me on WhatsApp or call me or whatever. He sends me an email. Hi, Pini. MBD needs a musician for a gig in a small concert in the mountains, a fundraising. It was in the summer.
Okay.
I said, oh, okay, cool, whatever. Then he gets back to me with another email saying, oh, MBD didn't know that you're here in America. He thought you're still in Israel. He's very happy to hire you.
Wow. What do you mean? He wanted... One second.
He asked Lipa to help him. I need a musician.
Right, but MBD thought that you're in Israel.
Yeah. I never told him that I came to America.
Right.
So Lipa told him that I'm here. So he said, all right, ask him how much it is.
Right.
I charged at the time $350 for the job. Come up to the Catskills. This is the first time I met Shagafava Gold, name drop,
Okay.
Sheeta Choir.
Right.
This was the snowball effect, like everything started rolling. They recorded the event. MBD made an announcement, give it up for Penny Streicher in middle of playing. I didn't ask him for it. Shagafava walked over to me. It's Common Exchange in Kartlich.
No way.
Yes.
Business cards.
Yes. Okay. Can we exchange business cards? I don't know if I had a business card or I didn't. We exchanged numbers. And that was my start with Shira, my start with MBD, and my start with Lipa. So I am not a strategic thinker by any means. I'm a musician. I'm not a business guy.
Okay.
But God put the right ideas into my head at certain points in my life. And I mean this. I mean this by all means.
Okay.
For real. Because I cannot take credit for it. I got the recording from the gig. I took a little snippet, a little bite of the recording where MBD announces my name and I'm playing a part. I attach it to the email. I send it to Lipa. And I said, thank you so much for the recommendation. Now he hears status. MBD is complimenting me.
Right.
The next thing you know, it took a few days. Lipa had a secretary in New Square at the time. His niece or cousin. She calls me, hi Penny, are you available for a bar mitzvah? Whatever, Matzah Shabbos in Passaic with Lipa? I knew.
That's it. It's happening.
It started. It's happening.
Okay.
And that's it. I had Lipa, I had MBD.
Yeah,
Shira,
the biggest stars.
The biggest stars, and I did all the events.
So you start. So this is where you started getting your name is getting out there. And how did
My name is getting out there. The recording is flying around in Yeshiva and Monroe and
I
other
guess once
places.
it's in
Everybody's
yeshiva,
talking
it's
about
already
it.
agents are coming to you and they want to
Correct.
work for you, and
Yeah.
people started running after Pini. I want to be your agent. I want to be your agent.
Yeah.
And I guess the agent thing you started also at that point, right? Mm-hmm. You started having an agent, or because
Not really.
at a certain. But so how did you have? I used to live on Rutledge Street.
Okay.
I remember, and I can never forget it, that I don't know for how long, for years or for literally 3 times a week in Continental on Rutledge Street, you were busy. Meaning to say, if I saw you 3 times a week,
I was very busy.
You were busy probably all week.
I had, I think,
How
the
did you get
most
so
weddings.
busy? The agents, this is where everything.
No.
It's obviously
I believe-
Lipa, it's obviously MBD, it's obviously a lot of credit to a lot of people, but
But I think it's them and the talent. And I'll tell you why. Because you know business.
right,
There are a few different things that are going to pull people to you.
right,
If it's a restaurant, if the restaurant is empty, you kind of doubt the place.
right.
Right? You're like, I don't know if this is good food. If you see lines out the door,
That's
you're
it.
like, this
Okay,
place
very
is wanted.
simple. So what you say?
Or if Donald Trump says, I love the food in that restaurant,
Done.
boom.
Even if it's shit.
And I
whatever.
really
but
think,
that's not your case.
Why?
When Donald, no, I'm saying no. That's not your case. I mean to say when somebody announces a big eye that shit food is good, doesn't
MBD
mean necessarily that it's good.
right. But MBD gave the credit,
Exactly.
gave me credibility. Lipa gave me credibility.
And you are talented, and
Correct.
you were amazing. So basically, everything started working, and all of a sudden, you became busy. It's simple as that. I mean to say, when it hits, it hits.
I'll tell you one more thing. So my
Okay.
grandfather from Australia's Cookies, Mount Zaida,
Okay.
he passed at 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
Reigniting, okay.
Yes. And he really was, he really cared about me. He used to go over to Lipa before Lipa started hiring me. And he had this big personality and a big voice, a loud voice. Everybody in shul knew him. He's a nice, good person, but a little bit entitled also. So it would be like, bring me, this is how he talks.
Right.
Bring me the psuchim gemura, bring me the time at kotzkotzikif, and everybody has to just obey the rules kind of thing. So he would go to Lipa. Was nimmst du nicht mein Einickel? Yeah.
Right.
So Lipa ended up coming to me and he's like, du weißt, an Zaida, your grandfather is
Heavy
coming to
support.
me. And I told your grandfather, I'm not hiring Penny because you're asking me to. I'm hiring him because I
Talented.
believe in it.
Right.
Yeah. So these were these little things that, yeah.
Okay, so now we're getting to the situation that you're already a big musician.
Yes.
Everybody knows you at that point.
Yeah.
Cloud, when I was a bucher, when I started when I was 17, 18, you were for a long time, for a few years, you were in top.
Yes.
The number one musician.
Correct.
Everybody knew.
Correct.
Spinning ass. Where is the stage that you're changing it into a band, or you first moved to Florida and you're dropping New York completely?
Way before that.
All right, so how's it happening?
The next talent that picked up a name
Okay.
that was like sort of a threat to me
Okay.
in the Hasidish world was Yankee Briskman. Yankee came in. We were sitting with Budach Kala, and I love Yankee too.
No.
We were sitting with Budach Kala, Moshe Kestamam. What's Stipman do? It's like
Nachheinz.
company. Yeah, we didn't have that many
Obviously.
competition, but we knew. Listen, we were all very real in facing reality. Who was talented and who was not.
Right, he's a talented guy.
And he's a talented guy.
Right.
So fine, Yankee took a bite. I was still very busy. Then another very talented guy came into the business, Avrami Barko.
Oh, wow.
So Avrami comes in, and Avrami changes the game. He is bringing, not EDM yet, because now we're having EDM, house, drops. It's a new world.
Right.
But then it was like they called it techno. Something in me, I was still very attached to the older, more organic feel of music. Like, a disco is a disco, a funk is a funk, a rock is a rock, not electronic. Something in
A
me.
real musician, in my opinion.
Yes.
I hate it, okay?
Yeah. So on top of that, I used to love the older songs composed by Yossi Green, composed by all
old
these.
school.
Yeah, but it was tasteful. A lot of tasteful
course,
old
it's
Hasidic songs.
It talks to you.
Yes.
Okay.
And there was a phase where I felt music is dying. It was a phase where all songs started sounding the same. The intro sounded the same. The songs, there was no chord changes, no melodic depth. It made me
Depressed.
a sour feeling. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is when I started thinking, you know what?
Maybe you need to do a...
There's a fancy word in English, sunk cost fallacy, like kind of kill the dream. It's like, all right, this chapter of my life is over.
Wait, you were thinking about giving up?
Not giving up. I was thinking,
This area.
where can I move on and still enjoy the music passionately?
Right.
Here is where Chaim Bakchin, the guitar player, who now he has an amazing band, Energy. I'm giving free plugs over here.
For everybody.
Yeah,
Don't worry
it's
about it.
okay.
That's what we're here for.
But you know, I was always like that. And it never hurt me. To all of you who are insecure about sharing,
Always let them.
forgetting,
Exactly. It's
there's
okay.
one God that's taking care of you.
Exactly. Whatever belongs to you, you're
Exactly.
gonna get whatever belongs to somebody else.
100%.
Okay.
Chaim is a booker before he got married. And he has a wedding with me as a guitar player in Ateres Chai. I'm a one-man band. Chaim really did everything to impress me. Everything. He pushed
You were at that point in the musicians MBD.
Yes.
You were the top. Okay.
Yeah, and he did everything to impress me. Like, he pushed every right button.
And he did.
He did.
Okay.
And of course, you know, I gave him a lot of well-deserved compliments. He took it really well. And I told him, I think, you know, I was thinking to open a band and I didn't have the right musicians. You're an amazing guitar player. I feel that I could start with you and we can start doing this thing.
Doing stuff.
He got so excited about it that he started pushing me. He started running after me. I was like, okay, let me think about it. Let me think about it.
You were just saying a statement because you really think about it.
Yeah, I was planting a seed. And that was like summertime. He was in camp. I came up to the Catskills. I had a gig. We met up again. And he's like, Pini, are we doing this? Are we doing this? And I was like, okay, let's think about it. Fine. And this is how the thing started moving. One day he calls me, I have a bass player for you. Name drop alert, Shlomi Spielman.
Okay.
Shlomi,
I know him.
Shlomi, I love you dearly.
Oh,
no matter what happened, you went to Freilich. You needed Mendy Hershkowitz's validation. Mendy, I'm a big fan of yours. I love you. You're an amazing musician, amazing talent. One of the names I was going to drop as high respect to your talent, Mendy. Shlomi is insanely talented. He's insanely talented. He joined us.
I remember, by the way, when he started. I remember. I was a booker.
You do?
Yes.
Wow.
I remember. You're talking about, I can tell you exactly when. I'm now 32. He started 20 years ago. 17, 18, 20 years ago.
It makes sense. And I remember Yoeli Polachek, who used to have another name drop.
You remember? Oh my God.
Yoeli is super talented, ladies and gentlemen. Yoeli was the nicest person in the world, number one. Yoeli threw me a birthday party. He invited me for Shabbos. He was a
heart.
He was a heart of gold. He was...
nice. He was always nice.
Not only that, he taught me midas. I had certain things I needed to work on myself. You know,
Every person needs to.
Yeah, he helped me a lot, short of polishing and upgrading who I am as a person. He really genuinely cared, and we were very tight friends.
Okay.
When that happened to him, this was probably the biggest trauma for me, but a double trauma. First of all, losing a friend, a dear friend. Second of all, at a young age, it's the first time that my innocence of living forever kind of busted.
Yeah. I got these slaps on my face 100 times already since like in the last 15 years.
Right.
But it's something that really hurts because you actually see, oh my God, there's one day that I'm not going to live.
It took away that security from me.
You don't know what. The guy's young. The guy was healthy. The guy was doing exercise. The guy was... And boom, I don't know, a heart attack, whatever it was. And it was very sad. I'm not going to forget this day. It was a very, very sad day also for the music industry.
Extremely, extremely. A lot of people were really, really heartbroken, touched by it. Lipa, Moshe Kasteman, tons of people that I remember that were...
Yoeli Brach, we love you.
Yoeli, we love you. In us,
I hope you see us and you're proud of...
You're going to live in us forever. Right. There's no question about it. We never, ever forget you. And he doesn't see the camera, but I'm sure that energetically he feels it.
Right. So let's go back to our conversation.
Back to the conversation.
He's bringing you Spielman, he's bringing you...
Spielman, and then I'm looking for a drummer. So we found... I mentioned Yoeli Polachek, and Yoeli, I want to give it to you. I don't know if the world knows how freaking talented you are. Yoeli is a musical genius. Okay. And I'm saying it with every cell in my body. That's a fact. Okay. Yoeli Polachek mentioned to me, yeah, I know Spielman, he's working in B&H, he's doing the graphics over there, he's a crazy bass player, I'll send you some clips. He sent me, I hear him, and he's playing so tastefully, like the Jewish music, like so tastefully, and I'm like, all right, let's bring him in. So Shlomi gets in. Then we find Shapsi Brody, the drummer.
Okay.
Shapsi played with, I don't know if you remember, but many people are going to watch it probably remember Evanal. Evanal was like, they took over the market. Rosenblatt production, Evanal was a thing. In Shapsi started a Bucher in Yeshiva. He was the drummer for the band.
This is how you're opening a band.
This is how we opened the band.
What's the name?
Symphony.
Symphony. Okay.
Yeah. And we got together in Chaim Bakchin's parents'
One
house.
second. What was the first gig with Symphony? Or you
That
remember?
was with Yoeli Greenfeld in Borough Park.
Singer Yoli.
Singer Yoeli.
Jal Pius.
Yoeli's a businessman as well, and
He
great
moved
guy.
on to big.
I did a
things.
lot of weddings with Yoeli.
I remember. Yoli was
big time.
also.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Yoeli did with us the first wedding, and our thing was we're going to be the first pioneers. We don't work with notes. This is a real band.
Wow.
We're like a rock band. We modeled after the Israeli bands. A lot of Israeli bands, they just know the songs. You play from your heart. You do rehearsals, and it's tight.
Really?
Yeah, and that was my vision at the time.
Not so much professional, but hard.
No. What's
Obviously professional.
Yeah, no, because we rehearsed.
Right.
We did, just like choirs, just like sheet of choir comes in a room and rehearsing.
I didn't mean professional. I meant whatever. You got me. Okay.
Yeah, because the idea of having notes seems professional.
Right.
By all means, I still wish I can have a band without notes. By
Right.
all means. But everybody's working with notes. It's a whole different system now.
Right.
So, and it worked out. We had arrangements cut out
Still in New York?
in New York.
Hasidish?
Hasidish,
So you had,
Swordfish,
so you
modern.
had a lot of gigs also with the Symphony.
Oh, we did very well for about 7 years.
Really?
Yeah. So for me, a lot of people didn't. I still did some one-man bands, but I gave priority to the band.
Right.
So everybody's secure in a way. And we were the first band in America to be called to do a wedding in Israel.
To be traveling outside.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because they have, plenty. And we did a
Right.
gorgeous wedding over there with Shulam Lemmer, Namoel Arush, whatever, Sheeta
lot of
Choir.
people.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. And we traveled. We did California, Texas, different places, but mainly New York.
So what happens after 7 years? So you had a good 7 years with Symphony. You had a good few years in one-man band. Everything is good.
Only one God could explain what happened.
That what? That the industry died?
It died. It was the scariest fall from grace.
Wow. What happens at that moment?
Nosedive flat to the ground.
That's not cool.
No,
Not
but
fun.
no.
You keep your head up
Yeah.
and you're thinking of new what am I doing next? Obviously you want
I kept my head up.
Music.
So Chaim Bakchin was dreaming about having his own band.
Okay.
And I totally understand him. His wife had a second child. It was always his dream. Chaim is a super talented guy on his own. He could
Right.
he's a band leader on his own.
Right.
And like a lot of employees that come into companies,
Always.
their dream is to open their
Always.
own business.
And it's okay.
So Chaim he was very nice about it. He gave me notice that I'm going to continue with the band until X, Y, and Z. He gave me, I think, 2 months or 3 months. And I went through a divorce at the time. I think there are let's just say there are certain things that I won't discuss on the podcast
Okay.
due to
Private. It's fine.
exactly honoring privacy also of other people. But the bottom line is it just died. Phone calls stopped coming. We know that the nature of the
God.
business.
God.
Yes.
And also you were about to say that. Continue. The nature
of this business specifically, the nature of every business, I think, but in the music industry, it really, really fluctuates.
It is 100, and I know a lot
And
of
I
you
had
know
a-
that. I know a
yeah.
lot of people,
Yeah.
and you have 5 years here, 2 years here, 5 years back, 3 years down. It's very normal.
So
And it doesn't matter, by the way, how talented you are, because your
Correct.
talent didn't go away.
Correct.
When you started getting less jobs or whatever, your talent didn't stop.
Yes.
It's just something from
Yeah.
how the business works. And
Yeah.
God, I guess,
Right.
does his
So
thing.
so
This is when you're moving to Florida, right?
no.
You
So
have-
I'm not giving up. I'm still hustling the
Trying to fight
idea
it.
of revamping this band for about 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
Nothing is going. The more I fight it,
The more you find yourself,
the more I find myself falling.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a major life experience, a major crisis.
we need these challenges.
Yes, it was
Build
amazing.
you back.
It changed my life. It changed my life. It built my confidence. It did a lot
of
to me in a
things.
good way. It got to a point. I used the word before the time to kill the dream, the sunk cost fallacy. I was like, I think I'm done. I can't fight it anymore. It was very scary. I was
First of all,
divorced.
that's your business for 15 years already.
Correct. I was divorced. I had a nice house in Nanuet, Muncie area. Business is falling apart. And all I know, I have no business experience. All I have
It's
is
music.
music. I'm relying on my gift.
Right. And that's
I mean, some level of good customer service. At that time, I was pretty good with customer service. In my younger years, I wasn't.
Right.
Let's just say that. But I grew. I grew with everything, right? Because first, I only relied on my talent. And it's not happening. So I started watching a bunch of videos on YouTube.
What are you doing in these kind of situations?
You know Patrick Bet-David? You said you don't watch
I don't watch
podcasts.
shit.
You know, Patrick Bet-David is a famous.
One second, the whole podcast situation happened because people tell me, Nachi, we need to hear you more. We need to see you talking. You would be the best. You even told me.
Okay, so first of all, disclaimer. So we can talk about it now. I saw your podcast. I don't find myself with Ellie Weber. At a glance, I sit down after a gig at night and I'm like going through a few things, and your video pops up. I'm like, "What's up? Let me take a let me look at it because I like Nachi's personality.
Right.
Let me look."
Okay.
That's it. I got
Attached.
sucked in. I got sucked in like a vacuum. I watched it until the end. I immediately reached out to you saying, wow,
and
because
I appreciate it.
don't appreciate anything more than people who are real, people who are authentic, people who own every part of themselves.
Thank you so much. I try to.
And but that's wisdom. And looking from the outside, Nachi has swag, he makes funny videos, he's entertaining, he is cool, he is this. I didn't follow all your social media, but from time to time I did. And I was like, yeah, the guy's funny, he's good on social media, whatever, parties, this and that. But in this interview, you really showed you had a system in place, you have wisdom, you know what you're doing, why you're doing it, you know what's actually giving you the confidence.
I appreciate it.
And these are things that I went through myself that helped me tremendously. And I was like, there's a similar mindset. Of course I connected. I'm in a different industry than you, and I have shackles, but I immediately reached out to you. And I was like,
appreciate it.
Gushing on
you should know something that sometimes a lot of people are reaching out to me, and most of them I don't know. Sending me long messages. I try to respond. It's impossible.
It's impossible, right?
It's impossible to respond to everybody, but I really try and saying thank you. And I do appreciate for all of you commenting and sending me messages after I see it, and it warms my heart. And
Nachi deserves it. It's well deserved. It's well deserved.
I try to be myself, and that's it.
And so I believe your podcast, if you continue with this, is going to blow up.
I believe so too.
And
even though I can't say it, but I do say it. I believe so too. My podcast will be very powerful.
I don't know when I agreed so quickly to just come on a podcast.
And I know that people called you without names. Yes. I know that people called you down for a podcast and you didn't want to go down. Somehow you felt comfortable to come over here, and I'm very happy. Immediately. For real.
Yeah. And I just flew in. I came straight from the airport to Nachi.
Yes. Yeah. I appreciate that. All right, let's continue.
I go into scholar mode, to investigator mode.
What am I doing?
I see this Chinese entrepreneur who gives a speech, and he says, it really hit me like a ton of bricks when he said that. From 20 to 40, you can learn new skills. From 40, stick to what you know. And from 50, you could start teaching to others.
Wow.
And I'm 34. And I'm like, oh my God. I started being very nervous.
Wow.
I'm like, I don't know anything else. When I look at real estate, it was a boogeyman.
Right.
When I looked at anything else, it was a boogeyman.
It's hard. You're coming from the music industry for so many years.
And I got used to this.
Don't forget, it's not that you come from the music industry. You did a little bit. You were here in the music industry, and you need to need to recalculate somehow.
Yeah.
You want to continue doing music, and it's
recalibrate.
It's very understandable.
Yeah. I decided, okay, I was in a lot of fear. I think naturally also, some people tend to be more anxious. I have an anxious tendency. I do. I work on it, and I got really nervous. So I was like, I'm going to fight it. What can I do? And I started reading books and watching videos. What can I do? How can I monetize my talent?
Right.
And I knew that I have creativity.
Right.
So I started thinking, okay, there are businesses that create products, then sell it to the masses. Right. And it's infinitely scalable if you're successful.
Right.
I have no idea how to run a business, but I could start designing a product. So I started looking into big direct-to-consumer online companies. Okay. And I was very inspired by the story from Movement.
1 second, you wanted to give up music?
Yeah, I didn't, my soul did not want to give up music.
But you actually started making
But on a technical level, I started making moves, and I was very embarrassed and very withdrawn to call people to ask questions.
Right.
I have a brother who's very successful in the food industry. My brother Heshi from Williamsburg.
Okay.
He does really well, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, he's a flying under the radar millionaire.
Okay.
Yes. He has a huge food manufacturing company in New Jersey. And I remember calling him, and I didn't have a very close relationship with him. And I was like, I felt so vulnerable, needy, vulnerable. I was like I didn't feel like anybody wants to hear from me. when it comes to business. They're like, Pini, stay in your lane.
Right.
You're a musician.
You're not familiar.
Yeah, exactly. And I asked them, yo, Heshi, can this be successful? Can that be successful? Can this make money? Can that? And we had a little bit of a conversation. He was nice to me. He told me a couple of things. Okay, fine. I looked into this company, Movement, MVMT.
Okay.
Then Daniel Wellington, a few direct-to-consumer companies that took a company from $15,000 startup money to $100 million in 5 years.
Fucking.
I wanted to understand, how's it possible? So I reverse engineered it and I saw what they did. And I was like, is it still possible now? It's possible. So it doesn't matter what. Movement did it with watches. Daniel Wellington did it with watches. I said, let me think of a product that I'm inspired by, because all you need to do is start with one product and then expand it as a brand.
Right.
So,
it sounds easy, but...
It sounds easy, I know.
Right.
So in the shower, I'm thinking, I love to travel. Nachi, we know you love to travel. So many people love to travel, but yeah, I love to travel too. And I was like, I'm creating a new carry-on bag for travel.
I remember it.
Yeah, Aster and Empress.
I remember it, and I posted it, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
We got major, we had venture capitalist firms coming to us wanting to invest in the company.
Okay.
But the Jewish community didn't really understand what Pini is doing. They were like, okay, so I mache jetzt ein Rensel von Oman. Ich meine, what's the idea of having a suitcase? I studied the industry. I understood where I'm going. It wasn't ending by a suitcase. We needed to launch a campaign with one product to eventually expand it to a company. And I'm happy to say it now to everybody so you understand what happened when a lot of people ask questions. And the reason I pushed it on an Instagram in the Jewish community was the way, you know Kickstarter?
No.
So Kickstarter is a launching platform. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So I studied Kickstarter for 6 months. There's a lot to know. And in order to be successful on a campaign in Kickstarter, you need to have your own community supporting you at the beginning of the campaign before the ball starts rolling further. And then you need to have money to invest.
Right.
So I found an investor, a serious millionaire investor, who we asked him for $75,000. It was a very small investment then. At that point, because
you knew the future. You knew that you're gonna need a bowler over here. Okay.
And then we got a secure loan for a couple of $100,000 to push the campaign. But that was secure on both ends because it was a marketing company in Israel that was only going to push advertisement as long as we have a return for it. And they stop. It's like a faucet that you turn on and off. As you get return, you push, you stop.
Wow.
It's a whole system to it.
Not easy.
We did it all. The launch of, I worked on it for 2 years, almost penniless. The only person I was still working with mostly was, shout out alert, Shulam Lemmer. Shulam, I truly love you. I love you, man.
Respect.
And Shulam really kept my name in the industry because he did. I think he did because I did all his shows.
Shulam Lemmer.
He's a superstar.
He doesn't know me.
Okay.
He has no idea who I am. I mean, he probably knows my face, but he's fucking talented. You know, I heard him singing The Hurricane. Bro, I probably saw it like 70 times. I saw it every time I drive in Israel. And even here, I'm putting the YouTube video and I look at him and he's fucking good.
He is amazing. He's amazing.
Good.
I mean, every single show that we did, he captured everyone's heart. From, not from.
Yeah.
Any Hasidish.
He signed
with signed with Universal Records.
Universal Records, right. Which is
correct.
Big.
Yeah, it was huge.
Years already.
Years, yeah.
Okay.
So the launch date comes. You remember COVID? The beginning of COVID?
Oh, please, don't tell me that.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that.
So we originally scheduled the date of the launch, and it's very important. It's like a campaign. Everything has to be tick-tock with timing. We worked with an additional PR company in Canada that they ended up calling me, we need to push off the campaign because it's going to clash with a big, I think it's called CES show. It's the electronics show, the big electronics, SEC. I don't remember the name.
Okay.
It's in Vegas every year. It's the biggest tech show.
Okay.
And he said, you're not going to get attention on your campaign if you launch it at the same. Yeah. So he said, push it off. So we were maneuvering social media. We pushed it off. At the time, we were running a lot of marketing to get email signups to the campaign. We had about 15 to 20,000 emails.
Which is sick.
And we had a very small amount of money spending on the ads. I was doing it with somebody else. We did really well in all departments.
It sounds crazy.
We're pushing it off. We made a new date. And the date was closer to when COVID already started.
March.
Before March, the noise started coming from China. It was all over social media.
Right.
The two engineers, actually one engineer from Israel that was working with me with a product, he flew to Hong Kong once a month, I think. He ended up calling me, Pini, I can't go. I can't go to China.
Oh my God.
Kickstarter needed the final approvals for the product before we made the campaign, certain electronic components. We couldn't even get it for them.
Ouch.
We were locked out. So we had to cancel the campaign.
Okay.
And the next thing you know, it's COVID.
COVID. Basically,
Yeah.
fast forward.
Yeah.
You want to tell me that COVID killed it for good, or you were able
It was
to?
so I couldn't sustain financially because I didn't take money from the investor to live.
Obviously, you lived like that for 2 years, like this.
I was scrapping, scraping. I don't know.
So 1 second. So what's going on? So COVID happens, and
COVID
the pace
happens.
pushed off.
We had an additional business partner who was doing with me a lot of the CRM and email marketing and a lot of other stuff that we were doing in collaboration. So we got in touch with him, with the investor, and we scheduled that let's reconvene in 3 months what we're doing. Because nobody complained at me that I'm doing something wrong. Everybody understood. Our hands are tied. It is what it is.
There's nothing to do.
In hindsight, COVID was a blessing. And I have to look at it that way.
What happened? What happened?
First, I was destroyed. It was the biggest,
Frask in your face.
the biggest slap in my face. I don't think I still process the trauma of it, to be honest.
It's painful.
I
Bro,
was just...
It's fucking painful, man.
Yeah, and at the time, I'm divorced. I have 3 teenagers. They live with
Working hard on a business for
Working
2
hard.
years, man.
And I'm like, my lease ran out from my apartment in Nanuet. I'm not re-signing another lease because I don't even know how I'm going to pay it.
Right.
What am I going to do?
You have kids.
I was still traveling with Shulam. I was traveling at the time all around the country. We did gigs in Seattle, Washington, and San Diego, and San Antonio, Texas. We were all over the place, like flight attendants.
Okay.
And that gave me a little bit financial security.
Right.
But in March, right after Purim, all the upcoming dates that I had with Shulam got canceled. So we had a bunch of travel credits on United, and
Right.
there was nothing happening.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, I have a little bit saved up in my bank account. What am I doing? I'm moving to Thailand. What am I doing?
It's crazy.
It was very scary. So I ended the lease on my apartment. I stayed in a hotel near Muncie. And I was like, what am I doing?
You have to make.
Yeah, I ended up contracting COVID just like everybody else in March. It was going around in New York, whatever it was.
Right.
Lost the taste and smell and all the good
Right.
stuff, some pain. I decided Florida was like my second home because I had a lot of gigs there. So I was like, all right, it's March. It's a nice sun. I don't know what I'm doing. I started negotiating with the Airbnb guy in Hollywood. I was searching for different places. I started negotiating to get a good deal.
Right. For long.
Got a good for longer term, monthly,
Right.
and I'll see what's going on. And I asked my kids, who wants to come along? School, everything is shot.
Right.
Who wants to come along? My kids were thinking, my middle one, Naomi,
Okay.
she was like, Dad, let me think about it. Okay, I want to come with you. I said, Naomi, I don't know when we're coming back. They might shut down the
Right.
airport. It felt to all of us, if everybody
The world is
remembers,
ending,
the
right?
world is ending. Yeah.
It was
Trump
so
is on
good.
the screen, on the TV screen constantly, shutting down airports. Things are happening. We took a United flight out of, I believe, Newark to Miami, Saturday night, Matzah Shabbos, one way.
Not knowing where the future is.
Sunday morning, they made an announcement the airports were closed.
Wow.
I'm just sitting and thinking, what am I going to do? At one point, I had an idea. I'm going to create a music course online. By the way, still a good idea.
Really?
Yeah, I have it filmed.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, something. I need to do something.
Especially at that point.
Yeah.
You can't do anything at that point except online. At
Correct.
that point, you couldn't go.
Correct.
You couldn't. Florida was a little bit more open than New York, but okay.
Yeah, so in the meantime, my investor understood. I called my investor and I said, look, with all due respect, I can't sustain. I have to feed my family. I'm sorry.
But
There is also no point of doing a campaign now. People are not traveling. The first, second year of
right,
COVID
right,
was
right.
dead.
I was the only one on flights. I was literally every 2 days somewhere. I flew.
Exactly.
I was alone. I was
Our
literally
demo.
alone.
Wow.
I was on flights. I literally had Delta, United flights. I was to go first of all Florida
Really?
every weekend.
Okay.
Every weekend, and I was alone on the flights. People were scared. I didn't give a fuck somehow, but anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I flew back from Los Angeles. I did Rechnitz Purim, and I flew back right after that with a Delta wide-body jet, empty.
Empty.
Maybe a couple of people on
Yeah,
the
it
flight.
was crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
As I'm thinking and my investor understood. He had no complaints. He was like, there's no point to launch the campaign. Thank God we didn't launch it because we would have lost more money.
Right.
That chapter was over. The next thing you know, Some people in Miami found out that I'm there, and they called me, hey, can you do like Boimer? Can you do this? Can you do that?
And that's it. You're starting back.
I started in
That's
Miami
so crazy.
in the same summer of New York.
That's the roller coaster we spoke earlier. All of a sudden, boom, 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 boom.
And by the way, it's when I gave up control.
You let things happen.
I stopped worrying. I literally picked up my hands to God.
God,
and
do whatever you want with me. I'm yours. Like, I can't do anything. Right.
I know I have a talent. Something's going to happen. Whatever. The next thing you know, Israel Retches, I love you. Call me. He was a drummer in New York. Now he's out of the music industry. He's like, yo, Pini. Also a very authentic guy. I love the guy.
Okay.
I want you to do my friend's wedding. So the first summer, COVID in New York was insane. People made weddings in backyards, blocking the wedding halls with buses going in from the back entrance. That summer, I bankrolled.
Wow.
I came into New York, and I was busy every night for a month and a half.
Wow.
I literally refed my bank account. Not millions,
Whatever.
but
nice money.
Yes.
Wow.
And I didn't settle anything. People asked me, do you live in Florida? I said, yeah. Do you live in New York? Yeah.
But it both work.
I was flying back and forth,
whatever you
doing
need to do.
gigs, 1 week in Miami, 2 weeks in New York,
But
3
you
weeks in
ended up,
Miami.
after this season, you ended up going back to Florida and more settled down in Florida.
More people started picking up on the idea on Florida, and if I still have time, Reed Shapiro, shout out to you, a very successful guy from Boca. He called me up and he said, Pini, I know about you. I know about your band you had in New York. I know about your talent, about everything. We were about to hire Freilich Band for my business partner, big wedding. Can you do it? I just said yes, without having a band, without having anything.
Right.
I called up. This is the first time I started writing sheet music notes on my own. I used to outsource it. I called, shout out Shlomi Zaltzman, Zaltz Band. He helped me how to use Sibelius, the program that you write notes for.
Okay.
And I attacked that. I started writing all my sheet music, combining it with some other stuff, started calling musicians. I created a band.
Wow.
And I pulled that wedding off. First time in Miami, new band with Levi Falkowitz and Simcha Leiner together.
Wow.
With a big chuppah, with a whole, the strings and everything.
That was your first major
production.
And
the ball, and it's a repeat of what I had with MBD at the beginning of my career.
Wow.
It's
this
like
is where it started again.
Exactly.
Wow, that's so impressive. It's so impressive.
I praise the Lord. I love you, God, because I'm grateful every single day. You can't take these things for granted.
And how long ago was that last story?
2021.
And since then, you're doing gigs and bands, and I see you're busy, Baruch Hashem.
Very.
Pini, let me tell you something. So your life story, it was really like, I'm very impressed because I know that sometimes when you get to your down seasons, sometimes a lot of people are falling and they're not getting up. They're just staying stuck in this depression, and they don't understand that the roller coaster we spoke earlier is facts. This is how life is. You have to be able to get slaps here and there. And trust me, in my life, not always, I'm not posting mostly slaps when I get it. When I get the slap, I'm taking it and I'm with myself.
Maybe we need to post the slaps, but it's a conversation for itself. Because it could give a lot of motivation for people to see the slaps.
Part 2. We're going to do a different one.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that what you just explained to us and explained to everybody about your life and how you were ups and downs. And look, Baruch Hashem, at the end, God is with you, and you have Baruch Hashem good partners, so you're a good fucking musician. I'm proud of you. Everybody's proud of you. I do see your Instagrams. I see almost every video. And I'm actually...
Disclaimer alert, I don't get to post every gig on Instagram.
I'm sure.
30%, 30 to 35% or 40%, I'm not even posting because you can't keep up.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
That should help you. That you should always be able to... You shouldn't be able to post 10%. Like you should be busy. But it's the whole story about your life is very, very impressive. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, wow. Because everybody sees, everybody has a certain respect. And until you see a person on a video, and you get to know, first of all, personality, you're a special person. And people see you and they're like, wow, he had his real struggles and real ups and real downs. And he kept fighting. He kept fighting on what he believes and what he likes. And you have a beautiful career. You have beautiful kids. And Baruch Hashem, I'm wishing you to continue just doing making people happy.
Oh, mine. Nachi, that's very, very generous
course,
and nice of you, and I
of
appreciate
course.
it. And I wish you the same.
I wish.
And I know you're always going to be successful.
Amazing.
But
Only with
to anybody that's going through, I don't want to sound like the public speaker motivator. I'm going through a hard time right now. Not financially, not physically, thank God, but something in my personal life.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, hard times create strong people create weak people, something like that.
I think I got the point.
Yes, but
Okay.
what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right.
If you see everything for a lesson, I'm not preaching, I'm telling you my own life experience.
Right.
It is always growth. If you really sit and meditate, what just happened to me? If it's in your personal life, relationships, marriage, children, money, finances, whatever it might be, embarrassments, public embarrassments, you can take it and build yourself from the inside on levels that you never imagined that you can. I can be the first to say, when you think your life is over, it's never over.
It's just starting.
Stop controlling the outcome, because you have no idea what's going to happen in a minute from now, and it's a waste of a thought.
One day you're like this, one day you're like that. God is playing with us.
I got to interview personally, not on podcast,
Right.
a lot of extremely wealthy people in Miami that I have the honor to
talk to them
because I do gigs for them.
Right, and I'm sure
And sometimes I make friends with them. I sit down and I ask them, you know,
give me a little
something
bit about
personal.
your life, right?
Yeah, most in a common denominator. And I was shocked. They are the biggest believers. The biggest believers.
Absolutely.
I'm talking to somebody who is worth in the hundreds of millions.
You know the thing is with me, I don't even believe. I just see. I see it. I see
Exactly.
There's a God that takes care of us, and it's
And the challenge is to give up control and just believe.
the biggest challenge.
Give up control.
I struggle with this. I struggle with this.
Everybody does. Everybody. That makes us human.
I need to do, bro, you need to do what you got to do, and the rest, leave. Let God do whatever He knows to do, and that's it. Nothing is gonna anyways change. Whatever you need to get, you will get. Whatever you don't need to get, you're not gonna get. Even if you think you're gonna get. And I'm very happy about this whole conversation.
I'm happy too. I'm really happy about it. I can't. This is my first podcast. I can't.
Drawing me the fuck out. Bro, thank you very much. I had a good time with you, and
it was amazing.
It was amazing. It was a therapy session for me too.
That's by the way my other secret career. I love psychology, so just in general. The bottom line is, anyone worrying is a waste of bloody time.
Right.
It's a waste of time. It doesn't give you any power. Control doesn't give you any power. Releasing control and worry is the most powerful thing you can ever do.
Thank you very much, Pini Estreicher. We had a great time.
Love you all.
And we'll see you definitely on part 2. We'll see how long it will take, but we'll see you.
Right.
Thank you.
Wow.
Bye-bye.